The appointed hour of 6 o'clock having arrived and slightly past, the board will come to order. Invocation by Mr. Stumpf. Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Frazee.
Lord, tonight we ask humbly to please bless our Sangamon County employees and their families. We ask you to guide and protect our military and first responders around the world. We ask you to give us peace and knowledge this evening to make just and wise decisions on behalf of our constituents. We ask all this in your name, Jesus' name.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ayers? Here. Cameron? Cameron? He's here somewhere. He's here, okay. Constant? Here. Dafsco? Here. Diener? Here. Del Giorno? Here. Deppie? Here. Douglas Williams? Here. Forsythe? Here. Frazee? Aye. Fulgenzi? Aye. Guyton? Is he here? Yes. Gotcha. Hall? Yes. Krell? Here. Lathan? I know she's present, so.
Yeah,
okay.
She's here.
Madonia? Here. McGuire? Here. Mendenhall?
He's here. He's here.
Okay. Miller?
Here.
Rader?
Here.
Scaife? She's not.
She'll be
Here.
joining us later.
Ah. Shackman?
Here.
Shepard?
Here.
Small? Stumpf? Here. Thomas? Here. Shumlin? Here. Truax?
Here.
Chairman's present. So at this moment, 28 present, 0 absent.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. For those standing in the room there, we are simultaneously broadcasting the meeting in the committee room that's just next here. You can see and hear the full meeting if you'd like next door. We're sorry we don't have more chairs, but as our business gets long, you're welcome to go next door to follow the meeting next door. All right. One of your fellow board members, Kathy Scaife, has notified both the chair and the clerk that she wishes to attend the meeting by telephone conference. This is allowed under the Open Meetings Act if a quorum of this body is present, which it is, and if a majority of the board, at least 15 members, vote to allow it. Ms. Scaife is prevented from physically attending this meeting for a cause recognized by the Open Meetings Act as one warranting participation via telephone conference. The chair will now entertain a motion to allow Ms. Scaife to participate via telephone conference. Mr. Madonia? So move. Seconded by Mr. Del Giorno. Chair, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The chair asks the clerk to revise the roll call to reflect that Ms. Scaife is participating in this meeting via telephone conference as allowed by the Open Meetings Act, and she's considered present at this meeting for the purposes of determining a quorum and participating in all proceedings. Hello, Ms. Scaife, do you hear us?
Yes, I do. And thank you.
Very good. Welcome. All right, proclamations. The chair is aware of no proclamations. Minutes. Motion by Mr. Madonia, second by Mr. Del Giorno for the approval of the minutes of the January 13th, 2026 meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Minutes are approved. Correspondence. Motion by Mr. Del Giorno, seconded by Mr. Madonia to place correspondence on file with the clerk. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Correspondence placed on file with the clerk. Resolution number 1, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution 1, resolution approving an engineering supplement for Hanson Professional Services for the Woodside Road and Iron Bridge project in the amount of $61,000.
Motion by Mr. Frazee, seconded by Mr. Shackman to place Resolution 1 before the board. Questions or comments from members of the board on Resolution 1? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Ayers? Mark?
Mr. Ayers.
Okay. Cameron?
You were.
You were.
You were.
How do you vote? Thank you. Constant? Dafsco? Diener? Del Giorno? Deppie? Douglas Williams? Forsythe? Frazee? Fulgenzi? Guyton?
Aye.
Hall? Krell? Lathan. Madonia. McGuire. Mendenhall. Miller. Rader. Scaife.
Aye.
Shackman. Shepherd. Small. Stumpf. Thomas. Chumlin. Truax. Ayers. All right. All voting in the affirmative, 28.
All those voting having voted in the affirmative, resolution number 1 is adopted. Resolution 2, Mr. Clerk.
Number 2, resolution approving the purchase of a 26 Ford F-150 XL from Landmark Ford Incorporated of Springfield, Illinois, on a joint purchasing contract in the amount of $60,400.
Motion by Mr. Frazy, seconded by Mr. Davsco to place resolution 2 before the board. Mr. Del Giorno.
Mr. Chairman, I move to consolidate resolutions 3 through 9 in with 2.
Second by Mr. Madonia. Mr. Clerk, would you please read resolutions 3 through 9?
Number 3, resolution approving the fiscal year 26 purchase order for bulk rock salt from the State of Illinois Joint Purchasing Program in the amount of $237,600. Number 4, resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the county engineer's salary and expenses. Number 5, resolution approving agreement between Sangamon County and the Illinois Department of Transportation to transfer surface transportation program funds for state funds. Number 6, resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the fiscal year 26 annual maintenance of county highways. Number 7, resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the fiscal year 26 IMRF expenses. Number 8, resolution approving the fiscal year 26 township motor fuel tax aggregate letting contracts. And number 9, resolution approving a purchase order for fiber optic utility relocation for the north abutment of the Iron Bridge overpass to Cogent Company in the amount of $160,000.
On the motion to consolidate, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The
Aye.
motion consolidates agreed to. Questions, comments from members of the board on the resolutions as consolidated? Seeing none, Mr. Madonia, do you have a motion?
I move that the roll call vote for Resolution 1 stand for the roll call vote of 2 through 9 as consolidated.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Aye.
Resolutions as consolidated are adopted. Resolution 10, Mr. Clerk.
Number 10, resolution approving a variance of Chapter 16, Period 72, Development in Special Flood Hazard Areas for certain property located at 8946 River Birch Road, Dawson.
Motion by Mr. Mendenhall, seconded by Ms. Lathan to place resolution 10 before the board. We're now rendering the zoning portion of our meeting, and it's our policy to ask if there are members of the audience who wish to speak in opposition to the proposed zoning. Seeing none, are there members of the audience who feel it's necessary to speak in support of the proposed zoning? Seeing none, Ms. Mendenhall,
Since we have no opposition, I move we waive the staff report.
is there objection? Without objection, so ordered. Questions, comments from members of the board on resolution 10?
Mr. Chairman,
Mendenhall?
I will have to abstain from this vote.
Thank you. We'll note that when we vote. Mr. Mendenhall, you have an amendment to offer?
The amendment will show that,
Mr. Mendenhall, can you get a little closer to your microphone? Thank you.
okay, the amendment states that it will not be used for manure storage, livestock confinement operations, liquefied natural gas terminals, and production and storage of highly volatile, toxic, or water-reactive materials, and not to be larger than 1,300 square feet.
Mr. Mendenhall, my understanding this amendment is a technical correction to bring us in compliance with any state regulation, and it's done by agreement with the petitioner, is that correct?
Correct.
And second by Mr. Stumpf. Questions or comments from members of the board on the amendment? Seeing none on the amendment, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The
Aye.
amendment's agreed to. Questions or comments from members of the board on the resolutions as amended? Seeing none, all in favor of the resolution as amended signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment's adopted. Now, Mr. Thomas, you wish to be recorded as abstaining.
So
Record will
recorded.
so reflect. Very good. Resolution 11, Mr. Clerk.
Number 11, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for the coroner's office from NMS Labs for the purpose of toxicology testing in the amount of $70,000.
Motion by Mr. Chumlin, second by Mr. Miller to place Resolution 11 before the board. Mr. Del Giorno,
Mr. Chairman, I move to consolidate 12 through 16 in with 11.
Second by Mr. Madonia. Mr. Clerk, will you please read resolutions 12 through 16?
Number 12, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution and delivery of an intergovernmental agreement between County of Sangamon and the Village of Curran related to building and property code inspections, permitting, and violations. 13, resolution approving a grant application for the Sangamon County Child Advocacy Center, CASA, from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention for the CASA program in the amount of $94,586. 14, resolution authorizing an investment in the Sangamon County Rescue Squad. 15, resolution amending the Sangamon County Ambulance Ordinance. And 16, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for the Elections Department from CDWG for the purpose of purchasing 150 Chromebooks in 1-year Chrome Enterprise for each in the amount of $52,798.50.
On the motion to consolidate, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion to consolidate is agreed to. Questions or comments from members of the board on the resolution is consolidated. Mr. Cammon.
On resolution number 15, amending the Sangamon County Ambulance Ordinance, I looked through the attachment, Exhibit A, which is the ordinance, I guess the new ordinance with the new language. And when there's a bill in the General Assembly amending an existing law, the new language is underlined and the stricken language has a strike through. This Exhibit A does not in any way tell you what's the new language is or what language was stricken. And I was wondering in the future if there's existing ordinances that are amended, if we could do it in that manner so people could see what the changes are. But for tonight, I was wondering if council could explain to us how this amendment, how it changes our ambulance ordinance.
Right, perhaps professional staff can respond to your question.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
So the language in front of you mirrors the same ordinance the City of Springfield adopted. Really the only two primary changes are the requirement for the minimum number of ambulance units to be on call and available for service from prime hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it was 6 and it's now 9. And it also reduces the ambulance companies used to file quarterly, I believe, reports with the county and the city, and now they do that annually. Those are really the two main changes.
Any other questions or comments from members of the board on the resolutions as consolidated? Seeing none, Mr. Madonia, you have a motion?
I move that the roll call vote for Resolution 1 stand for the roll call vote of 11 through 16 as consolidated.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Resolutions 11 through 16 as consolidated are adopted. Motion by Mr. Madonia, seconded by Mr. Del Giorno for the waiver of the 10-day filing period. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 10-day filing period is waived. Resolution 17, Mr. Clerk.
Number 17, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for information systems from Open Tech, Inc. for the purpose of renewing the content management software to multiple county departments for efficient retrieval of documents in the amount of $51,811.80.
Motion by Ms. Deppie, seconded by Mr. Thomas to place Resolution 17 before the board. Mr. Del Giorno.
I move that we consolidate resolutions 18 through 29 in with 17.
Second by Mr. Madonia. Mr. Clerk, will you please read Resolutions 18 through 29?
You are not my favorite county board member tonight.
But the rest of the county board loves it.
Love it. Absolutely loves them. Number 18, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for information systems from CDWG for the purpose of renewing the software licenses for EOS, Damware, and Web Help Desk for 3 years in the amount of $48,716.19. 19, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for information systems from Convergion. Someone want to help me with that? Convergion? Converge One? I'm in the Olympic spirit, you know what I mean? For the purpose of renewing the Cisco Dual licenses in the amount of $32,148. Number 20, resolution approving a resolution to approve entering into an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Springfield and Sangamon County for the provision of animal control services. 21, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for ETSD from Motorola Solutions for the purpose of annual fees for Wave and Starcom 21 in the amount of $194,256. Number 22, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for ETSD from Motorola Solutions for the purpose of annual maintenance for 911 radio system in the amount of $277,638.59. 23, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for ETSD from AT&T for the purpose of annual maintenance fees for 911 system in the amount of $94,619.39. 24, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for ETSD from AT&T for the purpose of converting copper phone lines to fiber optic in the amount of $55,000. 25, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for ETSD from Wiley Furniture for the purpose of purchasing new furniture for the training room in the amount of $45,000. 26, resolution for approval of a contract with O'Shea Builders to act as construction manager advisory capacity for the Community Services Building Project. Alterations to the current public health building. 27, resolution for approval of contract with Charles Joseph Pell Architects to perform architectural services for the Community Services Building Project. Alterations to the current public health building. 28, resolution approving the annual salary for the Chief Public Defender of Sangamon County. Finally, number 29, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for the county board from Peoria County Courts, Sheriff's Office, and City of Peoria for the purpose of Grayson trial expenses in the amount of $159,947.84.
On the motion to consolidate, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion to consolidate is agreed to. Questions or comments from members of the board on the resolutions as consolidated? Mr. Cammon.
Resolution number 20, the intergovernmental agreement between the city and us on animal control services. I've heard recently some complaints from city officials about the animal services control services that we provide. Does this intergovernmental agreement resolve those complaints?
I guess that's a question for professional staff.
Yes.
So, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to be. So, that assumes the complaints are accurate. I would argue they're not accurate, but we have with Director Ridley, we've committed to the city to have increased communication with the aldermen. We always offer to meet with the aldermen one-on-one, any complaint they might have. And I spoke with the mayor as well to make sure we're facilitating as much communication as we can have. This contract really is more about just the costs, the reporting, those kind of things that we do on an annual basis.
Has the city approved this intergovernmental
Yes.
agreement? Oh, they've already approved it, okay. All right, then I had on 29,
Mr. Cammon, before you move off that question, I have a related question for professional staff. Mr. McFadden, my understanding is there were some city council members who misread some of the documentation that we keep on response times for requests for assistance on animal control. They read the report to be saying we didn't respond to a request for assistance within 3 days, and actually what the report does is indicate the time that it took to resolve the issue. Is that right?
That's correct. One of the allegations was that it took us 3 days to respond to a call for service. And that's not accurate if the call for service involves other agencies or the state's attorney's office, which in that particular case it did. The way the system reports it, it's not closed until all those agencies have weighed in. So that's one of the things I was kind of referring to, that there was some miscommunication on how the system reports things, because we do give reports to the city council and to the city administration detailing every call for service we have, because the fee that they pay is based upon the number of calls that are done. So
they misread the report and were complaining.
correct, and I think
based on that.
Director Ridley, who's here somewhere, is
Mr.
committed to
Mr.
talk to folks about that.
Mr.
Okay,
Chair,
go-
would Sam allow me to ask one question based on...
On this subject?
Yes.
On this subject, sure, Mr. Stump.
Okay, that's, I want to make sure. Sorry, Sam. So, I just want to verify, but not verify, I want to tell the county board members that what we're approving tonight, as chairman of the finance committee, that this will get us through, this month. So, all these negotiations and the discussions and everything has taken this long. And for the last couple of years, they've kind of been, behind on it because of this, which is, no problem, but what the public health director has worked extremely hard with Brian to get this done. But what I just wanted the board members to know that really what we're approving now catches us up to this point in time, and next month it really starts again. So I'd like to ask them to get right back with the city and work out getting it approved for next year already. So
So I would point out that the way it works is we have to compile the calls for service from the previous year, which will end at the end of this month. Then there's a time, I think John and his staff, maybe a month or so, compile that data, apply the fee code to it, and that's when the city's invoiced. So it'll probably be April sometime is traditionally when we begin discussions with the city about the next year.
and that's perfect too. I just wanted it to be known that this gets us through till the end of this month, really. So
Right.
okay.
Right. All right, Mr. Kahneman, your next issue.
Also on resolution number 29, resolution approving the procurement of goods and services for the county board from Peoria County Court Sheriff Office and City of Peoria for the purpose of the Grayson trial expenses in the amount of $159,947.84. I looked at the itemizations. It appears that these are all for jury expenses. It seemed trial was, I think, less than a week. It seems quite excessive. Has our staff scrutinized what these expenses are for, and whether they're reasonable, fair and reasonable?
So
I think professional staff and perhaps the auditor's office
Yeah.
can respond to that. There was a great deal of research done on it. Go ahead.
yeah, we were invoiced, and some of the invoices did have details. Some of them were just simply a number on a piece of paper, which is not how we operate, how we do things around here. So I did ask the auditor's office, Eric particularly, to work with Peoria County, and they were very responsive and provided us all the information to verify that what we're paying for did happen. You could argue, was it necessary? That's some of the
I
things.
mean, what?
Temporary fencing, things like that we paid for, but we've taken the approach that if they've invoiced us and we can verify, as Eric has, audit that information to verify that cost did occur, we're going to pay it.
Well, one thing on the itemizations attached to the resolutions is jury expense grand. And I don't know how we get a grand jury expense out of this. If it's not a grand jury, but it says list price $105,579, and then another item on the details is the same thing. Jury expense grand. List price $47,967. I mean, how could the jury be spending that much money? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're looking at, Sam, but
Oh, what was attached to the resolution?
yeah. So the $47,000 figure is what we were invoiced by the Peoria County Sheriff's Office. That was primarily
Is that
for
the imprisoning of Mr. Grayson?
overtime hours for deputies, meals for deputies, a temporary fence that was put around the courthouse. The $105,579.68 came from the city of Peoria, who billed us for police overtime and public works overtime during the duration of the trial. We had a $6,400 invoice from the Peoria County Courts, and that was for jury pay for the Grayson jury, for jury transportation. For security purposes, the jury was escorted away from the courthouse each day, and for jury meals. And those are costs, transportation, but those are costs we would have incurred anyway if the trial had occurred here in Sangamon County.
So basically, the bulk of the expenses were the city of Peoria charged us for whatever police work that they claimed was attributable to the trial being there.
The city of Peoria is
Public
invoiced
Works.
us for 953.25 hours of overtime. The sheriff's office invoiced us for 497 hours of overtime. So yeah, the bulk of it was the city of Peoria Police Department.
And the $47,967, that was for the basically
Sheriff.
keeping Mr. Grayson up there in jail, and is that correct?
It was all related to the trial. I mean, it wasn't all
Yeah.
directly related to having him there in the jail. As I mentioned, part of that's for fencing that was constructed around the courthouse. I think coordinating areas for people to gather and express their opinions, and they had that area fenced off, so things like that.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions on the resolutions as consolidated? Seeing none, Mr. Madoni, do you have a motion?
I move that the roll call vote for Resolution 1 stand for the roll call vote of 17 through 29 as consolidated.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Resolutions as consolidated are adopted. Appointments, motion by Mr. Madonia, second by
Mr. Chairman, can I be,
Mr. Scheckman.
apologize for going backwards, but I need to be shown as present for Resolution 5.
Mr. Scheckman, the record will reflect you as voting present on Resolution 5. Any other board members have any other voting issues? Very good. Proceeding in the regular order, appointments, motion by Mr. Madonia, seconded by Mr. Del Giorno for the approval of the appointments is submitted at your desk. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The appointments are approved. Ratification of collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Madonia.
Yes, I would, after many months of contract negotiations with the corrections unit, I'm glad to announce that we've come to a 5-year contract agreement. Bringing that forward to the board tonight to vote on and approve. They get 4%, 4%, 4%, and then 3%, 3%. There's a significant raise in the starting salary to $53,500, and we have made right with the first 4 years of service and given them a significant pay bump too, to make them more in line with our comparable counties. So,
Thank you, Mr. Madonia. Any other questions for Mr. Madonia or his committee? Did yeoman's work in negotiating this contract, like all really good contracts, there are, I think, a lot of good things that have come out of this agreement.
thank you, Chairman.
Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none on the motion to ratify the contract, motion made by Mr. Madonia and Mr. Frazee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Contract is ratified. Emergency procurement notifications. Do we have any? None. Very good. Public comment. Yes, Mr. Krell, our patron.
I'd like first to recognize our new person over at OEM under Miss Mia Ray. And
Very
if you would
good.
introduce him and have him stand up and introduce our new, he's going to be helping us with the rescue squad.
Very good. Mr. Costello will expect a speech from you at the next board meeting. Thank you. All right. Then moving on to public comment. Our public has been very patiently waiting for. We have, I think, 15 people who signed up to speak tonight. And each person will have 4 minutes to speak. Take them in the order that they signed up to speak. And the first person who signed up to speak is Doug Sayes. Am I pronouncing that right? It's spelled S-Y-E-S. Size? I'm sorry. Doug Size. Not seeing him. Okay. The next person who signed up to speak is Lori McKiernan. Ms. McKiernan, you proceed to the well of the chamber here. And you can adjust the podium so that you want to be kind of right over the mic. And it's important because people in the room can hear you, but there are people listening at home, and so it's important to speak into the mic.
Okay.
Please proceed. You have
Great.
4 minutes.
Thank you. My name's Lori McKiernan. Responsible economic development should provide more benefits than harm. The negative impacts to the residents of Louder and the landowners near the Cyrus One project are a permanent degradation of quality of life and diminished property values. It's also inevitable rate increases for all of us. You see the presentation that was given December 3rd on behalf of the county board by Mr. Pruitt correctly stated that this one project would probably not cause an increase in electricity rates. What the report didn't say, however, is that the cumulative effect of this data center and the Fulton County Data Center and the Logan County Data Center and the Pekin Data Center and the Troy and Granite City Data Centers will raise our rates. And I was writing this today, I was notified there's also a permit in Edwardsville. So it's a simple matter of supply and demand. When the demand goes up and supply remains the same, then rates go up. You can't approve a project that will knowingly contribute to higher electricity rates. The claim of high-paying tech jobs from the project doesn't look very promising. Cyrus One's website shows that they have hubs in Texas, Aurora, Illinois, and on the East Coast. Under their careers tab on their website, you'll see that most of their technical higher-paid jobs are based in those hubs or are classified as remote jobs. So those 100 jobs, according to their permit application, they'll have HVAC, janitors, maintenance people, and landscapers. And there's nothing wrong with those jobs. Some of those pay above minimum wage, but they're not the IT jobs that Cyrus One is promising. In a 2022 court case, an appeal of taxes by Grand Tower Energy Corporation reduced their assessed value by 90%. Grand Tower Energy Center, the owner of a power plant located in Jackson County, Illinois, appealed the assessment of their property tax value to the Jackson County Board of Review. The board reduced the assessed value of their property from $33.4 million to $31.5 million. Grand Tower filed additional challenges to the assessed value. The Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board found that the county overtaxed the property and reduced the assessed value of the property from $33.4 million to $3.3 million. Local school districts lost 1/3 of their budget, and the county was forced to repay the 10 years of overpayment back to Grand Tower Energy. You can't approve a project without guaranteeing tax revenues. Data centers are eliminating tremendous amounts of productive farmland and are encroaching on cities. We have some of the best farmland in the state, if not the country here. Rural residents' lives and their property should not be discounted only because they're few in number. Responsible economic development should not cause permanent harm to an entire group of people for the temporary benefit of others. I'm pro-union, I'm pro-economic development, and I appreciate the valuable benefits that AI can provide society. But developers are using all of these issues to push massive, harmful projects on all of us. Postponing approval of this project causes no financial hardship on the developer or the sellers of the property. Approving the project before you can ensure actual benefits to the community is not reasonable economic development. A 180-day moratorium would allow many of the negative impacts to be resolved and would allow time to negotiate a community benefits agreement. Contrary to what Mr. Benoit has stated about a moratorium, Aurora, Illinois has successfully passed a moratorium. Godfrey, Illinois, which is not home rule, passed a moratorium. Fulton County has passed the first of 3 approvals for their moratorium, and Champaign County is in the process of implementing a 1-year moratorium. Responsible economic development demands a 180-day moratorium on data centers. Thank you.
Ms. McKiernan, sorry, I didn't have my microphone. Can we have a copy of your remarks? Could you give those to the clerk? Thanks. All right, the next person who signed up to speak is, Donald Hanrahan, but I understand he's not, but he submitted his remarks. Yeah, that's right, he emailed, okay, very good. And the next person who signed up to speak then in order is Kathleen Campbell.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Campbell. I'm from Glenarm. Tonight I want to speak to you about 2 things, CO2 pipeline legislation and the data center, just for a little variety. We have a bill, SP 2842, to ban eminent domain for CO2 pipelines in Illinois. It doesn't ban eminent domain for anything else, and it doesn't ban CO2 pipelines in general. It just forces companies to negotiate routing of pipelines so we can be safe from routing the pipelines too close to our homes, schools, businesses, and churches. Currently, PIMSA is prohibited from doing setbacks, or setting routing, and Illinois, including the ICC, has no setbacks and no safe routing requirements. I ask that Sangamon County formally support SB 2842. You know the issues from the Navigator pipeline. Your support made such a difference. Every CO2 application through the ICC, because I've given safety testimony at all three of them, has had the same dangerous routing in its applications. Eliminating eminent domain for CO2 pipelines is our only defense. Secondly, I ask that Sangamon County deny the permit for Cyrus 1 data center. I'm giving you my copy of the Rural Electric magazine that comes out every month, February 2026. It's called Country Living. On pages 7, 8, and 9, I marked them for you with little stickers. The article says kinks in the supply chain, and it describes how rural electric rates will have to increase with data centers being a big reason for that. The article details the many reasons the increased demand will drive up rural electric co-op prices, and we will not be exempt. I'm giving you a copy of our personal bill, with my husband's permission, of our rural electric bill this month. And we pay a $39 per month meter charge, just for the meter, and then 13.9 cents per kilowatt hour. Not cheap. But what I want you to notice is that on my bill, because we had a cold snap and we had an increase in power demand, there is a power cost adjustment added on because buying extra power during high demand comes at a higher price. Of course, adding the data center will cost us far more than that last energy snap. I'm also including an article from the New York Times, February 3rd, 2026. It states, the people most at risk of electricity shortfalls within the next 5 years are the areas of Texas, the upper Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic region, and the Pacific Northwest, according to the report. One of the areas at highest risk is specifically the MISO grid that covers the data center here. So when they say that MISO will have adequate power and there won't be an increase in rates, the data says the opposite. The fact is, when rural electric and Ameren need to buy more power for the data center, the price will be higher. But the data center will get secret preferential rates. It's right on the website for rural electric. We regular consumers will subsidize them, and we're going to take the price increase. This is not the time to approve the data center. The risks to our electrical supply and costs are too high. Further, HB 5513, a large data center regulatory bill for Illinois, was filed in both houses last Friday. Let's not approve a data center before the needed state regulations are in place. Thank you.
Ms. Campbell. Folks in the audience, please refrain from the applause and demonstration. Ms. Campbell, can we have copies of your remarks? Wonderful. Thank you very much. The next person who signed up to speak in order is Aaron Guernsey.
Okay, good evening. My name is Aaron Guernsey. I'm the president of the Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades Council, the business manager for Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 137, and I am a resident of Sangamon County. A $500 million investment in Sangamon County does not come along every day. The creation of 600 construction jobs lasting 6 to 7 years, followed by 100 full-time permanent positions, is absolutely extraordinary. The potential for millions of dollars in new property tax revenue, which can support essential services, strengthen our communities, and even reduce a tax burden, is equally significant. This project also strengthens our ability within the building trades to continue recruiting talent from local pre-apprenticeship and training programs right here in Sangamon County. Lanphier High School, Capital Area Career Center, Lincoln Land Community College, and the new program at CAP 1908. These pathways help men and women build rewarding careers with strong wages and benefits, changing the future trajectory for countless families in our communities. I want to thank Ryan McCready and the SSGA for actively pursuing responsible economic development in our county. Thank you as well to Cyrus One for selecting a site here in Sangamon County, because we all know this project could have gone to another county or state. Your commitment to a project labor agreement ensuring local labor and high standards that put people from all walks of life to work right here at home is deeply appreciated. Also, I will tell you that Cyrus One has communicated their intent to monitor and police hiring, so the project resembles and represents what Springfield and Sangamon County look and represent. We already have one retired member from the building trades that does this work for the city of Springfield, and I believe is going to start looking over such projects for Sangamon County. Finally, I'd like to thank you, Sangamon County board members, for allowing me to speak tonight about an item that is not on your agenda, but one that is critically important to the future of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next person who signed up to speak in order is Josh Witkowski. Ms. Witkowski.
Good evening. I'll bring you good news. It's not the data center. Many of you know me from many different groups. I need to make very clear I am here on my own this evening, not representing any group or interest. I'm here to address conflicting remarks from the Sangamon County Sheriff as it results to policies on enforcement with firearms issues. In September of 2024, the newly appointed sheriff stated before this county board that she feels her role as sheriff is to enforce the laws of the state of Illinois to her fullest ability. Board member Canman asked if that pertained to the Protect Illinois Community Act, also known as the assault weapons ban. She stated, if the law is for me to enforce those and all the steps that lead up to that, it would be my intention to fulfill that. However, 1 year later, November of 25, at a Sangamon County Gun Save Lives meeting, she stated, according to them, at our meeting, Sheriff Crouch admitted she wasn't really prepared for questions like that. I hadn't even been sworn in yet, she said. Now, setting apart the part where the sheriff admits to not being prepared for questions on a controversial law that had been in effect for 2 years as it related to an office she was actively seeking with over 20 years of law enforcement experience, I would think she would have been prepared. But she continues that further by saying, yes, that was maybe a bad thing to say, especially as the law does not align with the Constitution. So now Sangamon County firearms owners and citizens and board members are left with two conflicting statements from the sheriff. There's what she has said as a matter of policy in September of 24, and then there's what she is saying privately on the campaign trail right now. Leaves us with this unanswered question. Does the sheriff stand with the court of the Southern District of Illinois and over 75 other county sheriffs who have stated they will not enforce provisions of this law? Or does she stand by her unprepared public comments from September of 2024? So I am here as a concerned resident and a Second Amendment advocate asking for either the sheriff to step up and clarify her stance on this issue, or for the board in their oversight capacity to ask the sheriff to clear up her stance on enforcement of the ban on commonly owned firearms in Illinois. Thank you.
The next person who signed up to speak is Jill Cripple.
Hello, I'm back at it again to talk about the data center, and this time I want to focus on how the data center will impact local labor. Again, I'm just here on my own behalf, not representing any organization. The Springfield and Central Illinois Trades and Labor Council hasn't decided on their stance on the data center yet, but that should be discussed at the next executive board meeting so we can vote on it later this month. So this is all just for me, a local labor activist and dedicated union steward. Anne keeps warning us about the construction practices that Cyrus One used for their other data centers. Cyrus One's own website admits that their, and I quote, massively modular design methodology enables rapid deployment of large-scale facilities while maintaining quality and reliability. This approach combines efficient construction practices with strategic resource management to accelerate delivery times. That's just a fancy way of saying it's prefabricated, which explains why, at the BOS Center, Cyrus One refused to say that they would commit to employing even one local laborer. If there's no work to be done for the project labor agreement, then you can't file an unfair labor practice for not hiring anyone, right? Or you can say that there's no one in the area experienced in your proprietary materials and bring in your own people to do the work. I would love for hundreds of local construction workers to get a 6-year guarantee that they'll have a job, but I don't think that's what's happening here. No matter how the construction side goes, we all know that the main driver for why data centers are being built at the ridiculous rate they are is AI. If you think that AI isn't going to have any kind of negative impact on jobs, then I don't know what to tell you. We've seen this over and over throughout history whenever there's a technological revolution. Every woman used to spin literal yarn, making a living from her work. Once spinning machines hit the scene, that work for half the population lost its value, and younger women became the original weavers, working with those spinning machines and hand-wove textiles to earn a living. The loom quickly replaced these weavers, known as the Luddites. They got a reputation for being resistant to technological advancement, even though they were the workers who recently benefited from new technology. They were just fighting for fair labor practices as their jobs disappeared. The same thing is going to happen to our jobs due to AI. To quote an interview on AI with Virginia Prostrel, the author of The Fabric of Civilization, the only way to deal with it is to go through it and to try to ease the difficulties as much as you can. They were the beneficiaries of an earlier generation of technology, and now they will be the losers. The they she's referring to are computer programmers and office workers that utilize our existing technologies to earn money. AI will turn our labor market upside down, all because of data centers. And on the topic of labor, while I've got a minute, I want to invite everybody to 2 rallies in Springfield in a couple weeks to support our union siblings in their tough fights for fair contracts. They're happening on back-to-back days, Sunday, February 22nd and Monday, February 23rd. The first one is for the National Association of Letter Carriers. That's NALC Branch 80 at 11 a.m. on Sunday the 22nd on Wabash Avenue between Chatham Road and the post office. The second one is for the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. That's AFSCME Local 3982 at 4:30 p.m. outside their employer's board meeting at the Springfield Housing Authority at 200 North 11th Street. So again, that is Sunday, February 22nd at 11 a.m. on Wabash by the post office, and Monday, February 23rd at 4:30 p.m. at the Springfield Housing Authority. I have Facebook events for both of those union rallies up on the Springfield Central Illinois Trades and Labor Council Facebook page too, for anybody who wants to check that out. And if anybody has any questions or wants to help make some noise at those rallies, let me know, and I can give your contact info to the organizer for either rally. So please come out, stand together in support of your fellow workers. Solidarity forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Folks, just a technical note. It seems like we're getting an echo from the public speakers here that I don't think we're getting from anyone else's mic. We don't need to fix it tonight, but just a note. I'm getting an echo here. Okay. The next person who signed up to speak is Brad Shivey. I don't see Mr. Shivey. Okay. The next person who signed up to speak is Brad Hout. Brad Hout. Is he speaking? Oh, okay. We'll give him a minute to. He should. Yeah. Very good. Okay. A delay in the broadcast. Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Brad Hout with Cyrus One. First, I'd like to thank the community members here tonight and county leadership who continue to engage thoughtfully with our team. At Cyrus One, we make it a priority to be accessible and fully engaged in every community where we invest. We believe strong projects start with strong local relationships. Over the past several months, our team has been focused on listening and learning from all members of the community and region. We are continuously meeting with local stakeholders to understand community needs and priorities and to reinforce our commitment to being a good neighbor and trusted community partner. This includes meeting with the Verdon Fire Chief to discuss ways we can support equipment upgrades and strengthen emergency response capabilities. It includes engaging with the Apple Creek Water Co-op and working collaboratively on a stronger, more reliable water system for everyone in that area. And it includes ongoing conversations with local labor leaders, workforce partners, to ensure that this project creates real opportunities for local workers. These conversations matter to us because we don't just build facilities, we build long-term partnerships. Cyrus One has been in business for over 25 years. During that time, technology has evolved rapidly, yet facilities we built in the early 2000s are still operating successfully today. That's because we build for longevity. We don't chase trends or short-term cycles. We invest for the long term, with infrastructure designed to meet changing customer needs for decades to come. Our commitment to invest $500 million in Sangamon County reflects our confidence in this community and our belief in its future. That investment means approximately $100 million in tax revenue over the next 20 years, hundreds of jobs for the local workforce, and a permanent team with meaningful career advancement opportunities for local families. Across the country, many communities are working to attract new investment and create more opportunity. In some places, slowing growth has put added pressure on local budgets and public services. Sangamon County stands out because this is a community with strong infrastructure, engaged leadership, and a skilled workforce. Responsible long-term investment here can strengthen the economy, broaden the tax base, and help take pressure off county government to raise taxes on families and small businesses. By growing the tax base, projects like this support essential services, strong schools, and public safety while keeping more money in residents' pockets. Cyrus One is led by people who are proud of what we do and the positive impact we have in the communities we serve. We take seriously our responsibility to earn trust, to be good partners, and to deliver on our commitments. We are excited about the opportunity here, and we look forward to delivering a world-class campus that reflects our values and our partnership with this community. Thank you again for your time tonight, for your engagement, and for the thoughtful feedback you've all shared throughout this process. We look forward to continuing this conversation and working together in the months ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next person who signed up to speak is Teresa Bennett.
Hi, I'm Teresa Bennett. I come from a 5 generation farm family. We have grandsons who are interested in farming, and some of this stuff just makes it harder and harder for young people to start farming. First off, I am not against progress, technology, or economic development. I am asking for wisdom, stewardship, and choosing the right place for development, because some land, once lost, is lost forever. The site proposed for this data center is not just open space. It is very fertile, productive farm. It supports local farmers and businesses. Agriculture is Sangamon County's largest sector. It employs thousands of people, not just farmers, but ag businesses, implement dealers, truckers, and others. If we keep allowing our farmland to be diverted for uses like solar, wind, and data centers, it will hurt our local economy and residents directly. Data centers may employ some locals during construction, but how many employees will it have long term? Is there any guarantee these long-term employees will be local, or will this big unknown company bring in their own people to run it? I understand property rights are a concern. Property rights are important, but we have zoning rules for a reason. There are limits to what I can do with my own property, In order to protect the common good of my community, I am asking for those same zoning rules to be applied here to protect our community. Data centers demand enormous resources. They consume vast amounts of electricity, they generate heat, require constant cooling, and bring industrial infrastructure into places that were never meant to host it. We have already seen huge increases in electricity costs. Are we prepared for more increases as the demand for electricity is drastically increased from the data center? Is this what the people of the Sangamon County want? We haven't been told what mega tech company will be running this data center. Those in the community who have been told have been required to sign non-disclosure agreements. Why the secrecy? This should be information available to public when making this decision. Property rights come with responsibility. People living in a community have an incentive to do good for the community. They have to live in the community. In this case, it is likely a multi-million-dollar company that will be operating this site. Do they feel the same responsibility to the community as you and I who live here? Do they have to deal with any repercussions if something goes wrong? What guarantees do we have that there won't be adverse effects on neighboring land from this data center? Who stands behind these guarantees? Will we be able to hold them accountable? We have seen many communities hurt by data centers because they did not know the implications of these developments. Do we want to be one of these communities? There have been national pushes to pause development of data centers until more information is known about their impacts. Do we really want to be the guinea pig to see what can go wrong? In conclusion, when fertile farmland is paved over, it is not something we can replace elsewhere.
That's time, Ms. King.
Oh,
Excuse me, Ms. Bennett.
I thought I only had a 2-minute speech.
Thank you. Would Ms. Bennett, would you provide that to the clerk? Thank you. The next person who signed up to speak is Salem King.
In the discussions about CyrusOne's data center that we've been having over the last few months, there's an important question that's gone largely unanswered. Why the rush? Not just here in Sangamon County, but across the United States. According to Axios, there are 3,000 data centers in various stages of construction as we speak, nearly double the amount that already exist in the United States. So why the rush? Because AI is a bubble. Everyone knows it. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI himself, has said it's a bubble, as has Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, joined by financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund. Though that hasn't stopped any of them from investing heavily into it and giving their vast billions to companies like CyrusOne. Because they have plenty of money to survive the economic catastrophe that all of us will have to suffer from when this bubble pops. Wall Street investors have even begun shorting AI, betting on a market collapse. The obscenely wealthy and the AI corporations simply don't care how much that collapse hurts counties like ours, as long as contracts still get signed and they still make their money. If anyone still doubts that AI is a bubble, are you aware that in 2025, AI accounted for 80% of stock market gains? And 95% of AI investments, even from before 2025, have led to zero return on investment. 95%, zero return on investment since 2023. Unless you run an AI company, at least. Data center developers like CyrusOne are not ran by stupid people. They know this bubble is about to burst, and they intend on making as much money as they can before it does. Leaving communities like ours in the dust with a power-sucking data center none of us can benefit from, and with absolutely no decommission plan. I know Cyrus One has told all of you about all of the benefits and jobs and property taxes that this building will bring to the city. They've surely told you that all the concerns about water and air pollution, power bills, and noise pollution are overstated. But ask yourselves this, do you really think they aren't willing to lie to you and thousands of other counties to make billions while they still can? Since when are corporations in favor of union jobs? Their representative just got up here to spout predictable PR talking points about the importance of conversations, making empty promises that, even if true, make no assurance of positive outcomes for this community. He assured us longevity, but on little to no basis, given the nature of the AI industry. He's lying, and every syllable he spoke proves that he is only interested in good PR. It's become painfully obvious that the US economy at this stage is being propped up by rich sociopaths, trying to inflate this bubble as much as they can so they can pull their money out and run when things get bad. They did it in 2008, they did it during the dot-com bubble, and they're doing it again. We cannot let the oligarchs who value their stock portfolio more than the well-being of this county have their way again. This time, we all need to demand better. The good news is that we're doing it. Countless projects like Cyrus One's have been canceled across the country because people like us refused to let our communities be lied to and exploited anymore. All we ask from you, our county board, is that you vote for the people of Sangamon County, not the corporations that seek to exploit it. Thank you.
The next person who signed up to speak is Ann Logue.
So you all have a handout that I gave you. I want to call your attention to that. I am trying to provide as many facts as I can instead of hyperbole, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So on the first page, it talks about the rise in carbon in our atmosphere, and it goes straight along with our global temps. And this is these charts are by NASA, and remember them, I don't think they have much of a voice right now, but these charts were made a couple of years ago. So I want you to just look at that. There's the two House bills that are being talked about right now that would freeze property taxes for these data centers so that they would just be paying like they were farmers. And there wouldn't be any change in their property taxes. I also want to let you know that BlackRock is 40% ownership of Cyrus One through GIP, and they're accumulating utilities. They just bought Minnesota Power, and they're looking to buy AES. Now, that's not in your notes. There's also a list in the back of all the moratoriums and cities and counties that are saying, hey, slow it down. And, we just really have to slow it down because we have to protect ourselves. The companies are not interested in taking care of us. They're taking care of themselves, okay? When approaching data center development, we need to consider that opening the door to one, several will follow. Instead of farmland, we will have data centers pulling vast amount of energy from our grid, as shown in other areas. I have spoken to some of these areas who have a high concentration of hyperscalers. Jeff King, Development Project Administrator for the City of Chandler, Arizona/Phoenix, stated in a phone interview that after the centers are built, jobs are minimal. And he said it with a real, he was really not happy about that. There's nothing significant long term. So you'll have a couple of years of these jobs, and then you'll have a long period of no jobs, and people are unemployed. We need time to put into place guardrails on these centers. They need to be held accountable for the vast amount of energy and water use, the farmland lost forever, the carcinogenic fumes from the generators. There's also on one of the pages it talks about the toxins and how that affects by the American Cancer Society. So that's in red and pink. And they're releasing tons of carbon in the atmosphere. They're pushing fossil fuel plants back online if we continue to have this this disruption of our daily life. One resident was quoted this year as saying, "The roof-mounted cooling equipment is so loud that she sometimes can't open her windows," when the company ran backup diesel generators for several days. They sounded like helicopters landing on her roof. So this is the stuff that we're looking at. We need to really take this seriously. And we aren't really in a hurry, are we? Do we have to be in a hurry? Thank you.
Ms. Loeb, Ms. Loeb, does the clerk have a copy of your document?
Not for tonight.
I think, okay, we'll get it from the, thank you. The next person who signed up to speak in order is Ken Pesha.
Evening, County Board. How are we doing tonight? So I'm going to take a different tack with the data center. I don't know if you guys saw the news a few days ago. Champaign County just recently banned data centers. They're joining a long list of counties here in Illinois that have allowed them into their area and now deeply regret it. Aurora, Illinois has had continual issues with Cyrus One directly. You have Naperville. You have Folsom County. You have multiple other places. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll be happy to provide a list for you guys if you'd like. But I feel like 5 different counties is enough so far. I mean, we can get more, but it seems odd that places that have allowed them previously now no longer want them there. And I guess you'd have to question why, right? I mean, they say a lot of good stuff. But, I mean, you guys ever met somebody who sounded really good? He told you a lot of great things. They said everything was going well. And then you saw the work they were putting out. And it was an absolute travesty. So I guess for me it seems odd that Cyrus One went from promising, how much in tax revenue, property tax revenue were we supposed to get from them? A significant amount, wasn't it? Now there's this $500 million windfall they're promising our county. Why are they so desperate to put lipstick on a pig? Why is there so much money being promised to us? They are literally the most folksiest group of people I've ever met for a multi-international data center company. I mean, doesn't that seem suspicious to any of you? Do they think we're all backwoods yokels where if you throw a few dollars in our pocket and say some sweet things, we'll just let you build a 250,000 square foot data center? Champaign put a moratorium on data centers over 10,000 square feet. They haven't even allowed one that large yet. They already don't want more. And they haven't even gotten anywhere near the size and complexity of what we're approaching. It's not going to raise electric rates. Everybody's going to do well. The water table's going to get better. The tax revenue's going to go up. $500 million. Do I get a pony with all of that? Because it sounds preposterous. It sounds pie in the sky. Where is the negativity here? You're telling me this massive 250,000 square foot data center has no negatives. It's not going to damage anything. It's not going to permanently change the entire landscape of that area. I mean, who are we kidding here? If you went on a date with someone and all they had were good things over the next month, when would you wait for the other shoe to drop? It shouldn't be when we build a massive data center in this county and find out for ourselves. We have an endless list of examples in front of us around the country. And their desire to move forward quickly is to beat the punch that is coming for them. There are a lot of people in a lot of locales around this country that are opposed to data centers for a lot of very good and valid reasons. I encourage you to explore those because what they're telling us is just the sunniest, rosiest presentation I've ever heard. And that makes me think they're lying. I mean, quite frankly, that's how I feel when all you have are good things. I hired a guy to work on my roof, and I was like, what do you think? And he's like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to have to assist her a few things. Some of this might not work out. Are you prepared to get a smaller garage if it doesn't work out? Yeah, man. I mean, can I still get a car in there? Yeah, you're going to maybe lose some of that roof storage you had before. Oh, I appreciate that. He didn't go, this is great. It's got a roof that's caving in, but you know what? I'm going to get it perfect. The wood's been exposed for 10 years. Perfect. I'm going to get it replaced. No problems. None at all. Everything's going to go swimmingly. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I'm not even a religious person, but it's one of my favorite sayings. So I would encourage you to consider the kind of plans that they're offering that appear to be that swimmingly perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, folks. The next person who signed up to speak is Ryan McCready. Ryan McCready might be next door. Up here. Mr. McCready, you're fine.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Ryan McCready. I'm president of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance, and I appreciate the county board's attention to this data center development. It's been a very thorough process, and it's been going on and being discussed here for the next several months. Many of the things that I'm very excited about with this project, one is that Cyrus One chose our community because of the workforce that was available to support their project. And that's very important, not only the workers that will construct it, but the workers that will operate it, and the educational systems in place to support them, whether that's through District 186, CAT 1908, a number of the apprenticeship programs that go on, Lincoln Land Community College, or the University of Illinois at Springfield. All those systems providing workers. That's a key factor in attracting any type of business, so it speaks highly of our community. I want to say thank you to the workers of our community that help set those standards. Also, the ability to construct this project with a workforce that represents our community is a tremendous opportunity also. As a reminder, the Double Black Diamond Solar Project located across the street was constructed with a project labor agreement with the same labor groups that are be constructing the Cyrus One data center. That project exceeded all the state of Illinois requirements from our minority participation and employment on that project. Therefore, we will be able to achieve or exceed those standards once again through the project labor agreement that will exist between Cyrus One and the local Central Illinois building and construction trades. Another factor is the change in the tax revenue to the county will be significant. This land right now generates about $20,000 in property taxes. Your county assessor has estimated the property taxes to be over $6 million on this 280 acres once this is constructed. That will supply significant revenue to all the taxing bodies. It will also generate a significant economic return through all the indirect jobs. Not only the 100 jobs with Cyrus One, but each of the tenants that have equipment stored in the data center will have a number of employees that are required to live nearby and a certain amount of response time to the data center. That's because they maintain the physical equipment that's in there. So that's how we can offer some assurance about the type of jobs that will actually be located here and they will not be remoting in because they cannot respond in a timely way to serve the equipment. So we're happy to continue to answer questions. We appreciate all the support, all the questions that we've had, and I appreciate that Cyrus One has been very responsible in responding to questions and answering questions, and they will be a good partner for this community, and I ask you and urge you to vote in favor of this permit for their data center in Southwest Sangamon County. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person who signed up to speak is Dalton Ioka.
Hello, my name is Dalton Ioka. I'm a lifelong resident of Sangamon County and a proud member of 8 generations of family farmers and an IT professional. I would like to employ the county board to vote no on the proposed data center project. First, I would like to ask the county board a question. What is the meaning of Sangamon? It's an origin word from the Potawatomi meaning where there is plenty to eat. This is our identity as residents of Sangamon County. To take away the richest dirt in the world for this data center, we will begin to lose that identity. If we let these floodgates open of all these data centers coming in, we won't be able to shut it again. Again, please vote no on the proposed data center from Cyrus One and any other data centers coming into Sangamon County. Thank you.
And the last person who signed up to speak, Gary. The last person who signed up to speak, Gary Schultz.
My name is Gary Schultz. I live a mile and a half east of the proposed data center. This is not Cyrus One's first data rodeo, but it is our first data rodeo, so there is a lot we don't know. Data center representatives know what to tell the communities, but not what they should, because they don't have to. Cyrus One spoke several times about 100 full-time jobs, never mentioning the percentage that would be remote workers, but we already know there are remote workers. I would like to know if they already have plans set in place if the humming gets excessive, if the generator noise and the exhaust smell is too much to handle, because we do like to open our windows up for fresh air. Just a few of the many things that we should know. I know people have been saying, if you want it so bad, put it in your backyard. But who in their right mind would want that? So let's stick it in Talkington Township so it can bring down our property values and raise our taxes. Because who wants to live close to a data center? I know it takes a willing seller to let this happen, but the elected county officials can stop this center. If there is anyone in here who would like this data center as a neighbor, you're a liar. We all know if they weren't throwing out the big money, we would say no, you're not using our resources. But people don't seem to care any longer when that money and sometimes breakfast is offered to them. My area went from excellent farmland to having high power lines, then the solar fields, currently getting the red blinking lights of the windmills, now trying to put a data center up our butts. Don't you think maybe we had enough of this in this rural area? I was not against the solar farm. That's a half mile from my home. At the time, only thinking about the work it would create for my fellow union members, not thinking about the excellent land not farmed anymore, but could be if needed to be. It could be returned. As for the possible data center, the land will be unfarmable. In its most likely short future, only to become the new closed down Pillsbury our children will have to worry about. As for the data center not increasing our electric rates, we would be the first in the country for it not to. Just because our bill doesn't directly say data center, it's there. As for all the excellent tax breaks the data centers get on their equipment and other purchases, who do you think pays for it? You guessed it, we the taxpayer. About 28 years ago, we had a home invasion in Louder. We called 911. It took 4 hours for an officer to get there. He apologized, telling us the area was low priority. But now, we are a priority because of a data center? I would like to thank all of you who have been open-minded and the ones who became open-minded when you start hearing the public concerns. Thank you, and vote no. Thank you.
Okay. That concludes the public comment. Proceeding in the regular order to reports of county officials, reports of special committees, reports of standing committees, and reports in the report of the Committee on Claims. Motion by Mr. Madonia, seconded by Mr. Del Giorno, that the reports be placed on file with the clerk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reports be placed on file with the clerk. Motion by Mr. Madonia, seconded by Mr. Del Giorno, that the board do stand in recess until its March meeting scheduled for Monday, March 23rd at the regular time. And that schedule is set because it's the earliest date we could obtain the convention center for that meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We stand in recess.